Hi, this is Kathleen from Sunny Mountain Patterns. I'm going to show you how to make a flutter sleeve from a regular short sleeve pattern on Inkscape. Now, this is great for people that are using projector patterns because you can just go ahead and project the PDF or straight up. So what I'm going to use, hint, is my pattern for this Allspice peterpan collar back button. It has sleeveless, short sleeve, and long sleeve. I'm going to use a short sleeve version. So here is Inkscape open. Now, mind you, this is an older version of Inkscape. I haven't downloaded the newest one yet, so it might look a little different if you have the new 2.0 version or whatever they're on right now. Plus, if you're watching this video in a little later date. Anyway, let's get to it. So we're going to go to File. We can change this to a larger piece. Originally, I think it's an A4, which will print out and be, tiny. It's like a sheet of paper. We're going to go to File, Document Properties, and change this over to have short page border to A0. Now, I want this landscape because I like landscape. Or you can do portrait, whatever. And all you have to do is just close it, and it's beautiful. So when you print the PDF, everything inside this page barrier is going to show up. If you don't care if it's A0, you can just make it huge, like 200 inches by 200 inches, the max that Adobe PDF will allow you to do. So we're going to import by going to File, Import, or Control-I, our PDF. So I already have it stitched together as an A0. I will actually show you my projector files because I'm super proud of them. And I just say, okay, I don't mess with any of the settings. It's going to pop up. It's going to be all one big block of stuff. Just let it's going to take its time. So here I have, it's not as compact as an A0 just because I make it so it's easier for scrolling. This is not, of course, an advertisement for my projector files, but I'm very proud of them. So I have a black layer, and some of them might not come with black layers, but if it does, it's okay. You're going to go to Object, Ungroup, or Shift-Control-G, which doesn't always work for me. Give it a second to work. It's a little slow sometimes. Now you'll see all of these dashed lines. That's indicated that they're ungrouped. I want to delete the black layer so I can see everything. So since my patterns, my PDFs are in size layers, I'm going to be able to grab that group of size layers. So this is my 6T. If they're not in a size layer, you're going to have to individually select the size you need, which is a pain. But the only program that will let you do size layers is Adobe Illustrator. So that's actually why I do most of my work in Illustrator. Anyway, that being neither here nor there. So now I have size 6T just for ease of use. I'm going to ungroup these by pressing Shift-Control-G angrily because it doesn't always listen to me. Shift-Control-G. There we go. Now they're all dashed along the outsides. I want this piece. You can do both. If it's a whole piece, that's fine. Not a problem, same technique. So this is the simplest way of doing it without having to remember which type of path editing tool you need. Essentially, when you do pattern drafting, you would cut in several sections. So I'm just demonstrating the sections that you would do, like here. And you would cut from the bottom up, basically, to make the bottom spread out, which would create the flutter or the bell sleeve. Just to the very top, and you wouldn't actually cut through, and you would pivot. It's called slash and spread, which sounds like an awesome slasher movie. So I only grabbed one side. I'm going to establish a center line because you can actually move everything over, but I'm actually really not so fond of that. I did this already. We're going to do three cuts. You can do more if you want more spread by getting the Bezier curve, which is Shift F6. If you're in Illustrator, it's P. I'll do an Illustrator version if I have time. So what we're doing here is we're going to trace just the sections you want. Say a little tiny one to establish where we are. Control Z will undo what you just did if you didn't like it, and I didn't. So you can, I'll show you the first way. We'll just leave it connected, press Shift and, sorry, Shift is for Illustrator. Control will make a perfectly up and down piece, or horizontal, and then join. So you want to see that how it highlighted red. Now, another thing to note is I have, and if you look on the right hand side, I have enable snapping on. So that's actually helping me out. So now it's curved here. We don't want that. We want it completely flat. You can double click here. It'll come up, double click the lines you just made. It'll come up with these notes, or you can click this edit pass by notes, or F2. If you're an Illustrator, it's A. So you'll see me do that a lot. So we're going to zoom in by pressing Control and scroll, use the scroll wheel on your mouse forward. And if you go backwards, you'll figure it out pretty quick. And we're going to click and drag very, very, very carefully. Okay, let's click and drag without moving the other one. Okay. You might have to move it. Oh, for good Lord. I'm undoing. That's not what I wanted. Okay. If this is doing this, and before you hit your computer, just click off enable snapping. Okay, you totally hate me. Because this is not supposed to be doing this at all. Or get it very, very close. I'm zooming out now. Okay, everything else is good. So here's the other method, and because I hate doing that with the nodes and the little legs, I don't remember what they call them, because that happens. It messes up where it is and messes the curve up. Let me show you the other way. This is the better way. If I could just zoom in. We need enable node snapping again, so I can be close without being accurate. Scroll out a bit. This is fun. Doing this on a laptop screen because I packed my regular monitor already. I'm trying to move. Click and drag. Press enter. So it undoes it. Hover over the corner where you last did it. It should highlight red. Or just get larger if you're colorblind. My dad's colorblind, so I always have to remember. Not everybody can see it's red. So press Control so it's completely flat, and click on the lower line, and then you see how it already highlights that other piece's end. Thank you. Click there, and then click all the way on the top. You don't need to press Control because theoretically it should be the same until it highlights red or gets bigger. Now we're done with that piece. We're going to do 2 more. I like to stop at where the inflection point is for the curve, where it starts, how it goes like this, and then it starts, oh, I hit the mic. It starts doing this. If you're watching my video, I'm doing the motion with my hands. That's where you want to put a node, because if you do the whole thing, it's hard to make that. Okay, it's impossible to make that S curve because you need a node to tell it, hey, it's changed directions. So press enter, and Control to hold it perfectly perpendicular. I'm gonna start curving this a little bit. I don't know what to, I didn't go all the way down. So Control and then down to the line. Now this bottom is slightly curved. Just when I built it to look better on the arm. Let that kit stay still for very long. Press enter. Highlight and red. Now we want these all to be together so that when you move it, all the pieces move together. If you set it up where you make a piece, you press enter, and you don't highlight it, this is what's going to happen. I hope this works. I hope this works not the way I want it to work. So if I was going to click and move this, it'll only move those pieces, and I'll only move that piece, not everything together. Versus where I held it and the piece highlighted, all of the lines go together because it's reading that as a complete shape rather than just a bunch of lines that happen to be next to each other, as it were. So the last piece I have to do is here. Now I know that you can cut the pieces. I'm sure people will comment on that, but this is, to me, much more logical than having to remember what the correct command is, because it doesn't make the path cuttings don't make sense to me. Okay. So I'm going to make these a different color, and I'm going to make them nice and bold. So shift, and you can click on the button. If you don't press shift, I'm sorry, the color is not the button. If you don't press shift, it's just going to set it as fill color, which not working because I don't have anything highlighted. Which, okay, that will work too, but I don't want that right now. Okay, I'm going to make this a little thicker as well, so it's easier for you to see, not necessarily for me. So you want to go to Object, Fill and Stroke, or Shift Control F, and go all the way to the right. The tab says Stroke Style. I'm going to work in points. So generally, 5 points would be good for projecting. So let's make another layer just so it's easy to work on, and so when you project, you will only see the corrected things you need projected. Also, please note this is not the best tracing. It's a little off. You can fiddle with it just by double clicking. And let me zoom in so you can see. Ooh, too much. And grabbing and dragging. So the length tells you the radius the curve should be, and the angle of this line tells you where the tangential will be. And you thought you were done with geometry. Okay, so what we're going to do is, before we make another layer, I'm going to manipulate these red pieces, which is the pieces I've cut. So we're going to actually grab these 3 pieces. I'm going to leave the middle piece because when I did it the first time, it messed up the curve. So we'll just leave the little piece, just leave a little strip there. You can make more pieces if you want to spread it more, or have it more evenly spread, or have it like super fluttery and super full. But we have to grab from the middle outwards. So you have to grab all 3 at once, or all whatever. Click again, and you'll notice this cross-hatching shows up. We're going to click and drag this. Hold on for a second. I have to pause. My 5-year-old's going to interrupt us. Okay, false alarm. So we're going to grab these and move the center point up here to the upper left-hand corner, or right, whatever, just follow along. And then grab one of these corner ones. Do not grab this. It's just going to skew it and make it look like a trapezoid, and you'll be all mad. Not a problem if you do. Just press Control Z, which is undo. Grab this corner and rotate this way. So you see how it's only rotating the bottom. So we're going to get the fullness on the bottom. Next, we're going to do the next 2, but not this number 2, I guess, piece. I should number these. Click again. And now the cross-hatching is, I'm going to zoom in. Here, we want to move it to above the second piece. So that tells it where the center of rotation should be. Still getting used to these commands. I use Illustrator usually, so it's a little bit different. And click and drag. If it's doing this snap nonsense, go close the fill and stroke. Unclick the enable snapping before you punch your computer, because I'm pretty sure your computer's expensive. And last one, click again. Move the piece. I will do this in Illustrator in a second if time permits. Okay. So this is the full slash and spread version. We're going to have to smooth this out a little bit. I did not change the length of the arm because it needs to fit in the arm side. If you change the length, you're either going to be too short. If you make this shorter, meaning this piece moves over like that, that's going to be too short. If you make it longer, you're going to have to do gathers, which actually it's not that hard if you want to make gathers. Just move this a little bit and, oh, sorry. Let's say you wanted to make gathers on the top. Hey, bonus lesson. Press Control and move it over. And then trace around. it's going to be the same next step, but this will make you have to have gather, so you can have like a poof type of sleeve. And if I could just not hit the microphone, I'm so sorry. So I'm just going to undo that by pressing Control Z. That's going to be your friend. So now we have this piece we want to trace over. So if you only need the sleeve, you're welcome to add another layer on and print and have that print out, which I'm going to do so for illustrative purposes. So notice this is all layer 1. Let's make another layer. So layer, add layer. It's going to ask you what to layer it. Above current, add. Perfect. I want to go down to layer 1. I'm going to lock it so I can't grab it and mess it up, because I've done that before. And flutter sleeve. Okay, it's flutter sleeve 1 because I already had one. I forgot. Sorry. So now we're going to get the Bezier pen again. You might want to make this, let's see what thickness is. It is pretty thin. Let's go fill and stroke again. No, good Lord. So you notice I left that curve like that. I can fix it in a second. It's a much smoother curve than trying to press enter and then put another curve after that. Trust me, I messed this up. So we're going to make this 5 points so it shows up really well. Don't make it bigger than 10 points because it's going to throw off your entire accuracy. So press shift and then we'll just choose a color. Dark green. I am sorry if you're colorblind. My dad is totally red-green colorblind, so it's fun driving in states where the stoplight's not up and down. And he insists on driving. So we can either fix this curve now, or I'll do it afterwards. Or you can do it afterwards, which is what I'm choosing to do. So we're highlighting until that point gets bigger. We're clicking. Let me unclick this. So if you have the snap points on, this makes life much easier. Oh, good Lord. Why don't you like me? Okay. Snap here and then click and drag. So you can see that this does not like me at all. Now I have this. I don't like it. I'm going to press enter. Oh, there we go. It's connected to everything. All right. And click up here and click. You want it to highlight red or get bigger and get bigger so that you know that it's connecting these together as a whole piece like I just showed you. All right, so we're going to double click or you can press this button here. We need to change this angle. So you can click and drag here. And then also I think this side. Okay, so if you're not satisfied with what you've got available for the left-hand node, you can click on the right-hand node and then convert that over to I'm going to say a smooth node. And then shrink this until it's small. Basically until the right-hand node aligns to make it a corner, essentially. Okay. Now we can adjust both sides. A little off isn't going to hurt you, just to let you know. For those that are super perfectionists, done is better than perfect. Okay, so we basically traced it out. If at this point, if you want to make the bottom part, which would hit right at the outside of the sleeve, a little bit longer, because right hand side is the under or the side seam, the underarm seam. You can click on the green part, and then here, get the edit pass by nodes. Grab the node and hold control and hold it down. And that'll make it a little bit longer for hemming, for example, that sort of thing. Okay, so we're gonna go layer 1. I'm gonna hide this. And now all we have is this piece here. You can try to smooth this out slightly, but it's pretty And if you want to smooth it out, you can, but it's gonna be pretty rough just because of the inflection point. Don't fiddle with it too much. It's gonna make it hard to put onto the arm side. Okay, so once we're done with that sleeve, we gotta move it over onto the sheet of paper. If you're doing it straight from Inkscape, no problem. Don't worry about the sheet of paper. Okay, so here, if you didn't have a calibration square that popped up, here's my quick and dirty. Just make a square. Just grab the square here, which is F4, a rectangle. Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter what shape, doesn't matter what size, just make one. If you don't want the fill, like pink, sorry. You can just move all the way to the left and click the X, say none. We want this to be thick, so go ahead and go back to the fill and stroke. Oh, it is 5 points, okay, cool. It's thick already. Now up here, you're gonna see, if we could just click on it, you see the width and the height is in millimeters. Let's change it to inches. And if you're metric, go ahead and do, I think, 100 centimeters by 100 centimeters. I'm doing 12 by 12 inches.
One more cookie.
Somebody wants a cookie. Hold on first. Okay, so we're gonna make a 12 by 12 and leave it, I would suggest upper left-hand corner. Adobe tends to set it in the upper left-hand corner. I'm just making a note here by clicking on the big A. That is a 12 by 12. You can make it bigger too if you want symmetric. Hold Control. Just so you remember. So we're ready to print this out. File. Come on. And save as. Flutter sleeve. And change it to a PDF, which should be portable document format. And it's only going to show, oh, by the way, this is only for me. Sorry, I'm not pattern drafting for adults. But if you want to know what it is, yeah, you can contact me or leave me a message. Here, I'm just going to leave it as a flutter drawing so you'll be able to do your normal projection. You can see that it's the pattern, and I have a 12 by 12. Oh, I should probably mention here. Let's go back to this. If you wanted mirrored, which I don't know about you, but I like it because I don't want to cut and fold. You can just press Control C to copy, and then wherever your mouse is, Control V, it'll paste right there. And then press H to flip it horizontally. So that's Control C to copy, Control V to paste, and H to make it horizontal, and then join these two together and do the same thing with the PDF. So that's it. Hopefully I can edit some of this out. I am so sorry, my editor is broken. But again, I use my Sunny Mountain pattern. It's this one, the Allspice. It comes with all the 3 sleeves, so you can, any type of sleeve will work as long as it's short sleeve. And so I hope that works for you, so let me know. Thanks, bye.